Bismillahir Rahman Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Thursday, the 16th of October, 2025. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. Let me begin by saying thank you to Grandpa Clothing in Dansoman, in Kigali, and many other places on the continent of Africa for my lovely kaftan, and also to Sona Fashions in Tamale, 0246590162. That's 0246590162 for my dapila. I'm grateful indeed. And you should be looking like this to work on a daily basis, because when you do that, you will be creating jobs, you'll be promoting Africa, and you will also be making sure that we are raking in a lot more cash to take care of ourselves. You should do that. Having said that, I want to say thank you to our trot drivers, our taxi drivers, our market women, our bankers, our teachers, our lawyers, our engineers, our soldiers, our policemen, our immigration officers, our fire service officers, our national security officers, everybody who spends time to, take their time to watch us and to share our content, our clergymen, women. Bishop Matthias, good morning to you. Clergymen and women and all of the individuals who spend time to watch us. We're grateful indeed, and thank you very much for your continued support. Let me tell you about the Rosebank International University College. I've been talking about it for some time, and it's for good reason. Good reason because I want you and your family to be in a better place. I want you and your family to get a strict understanding of what the global trends are. I want you and your family to be rising stars. If you are not already, if you are, I want you to shoot further and aim for the moon. I want you to have world-class education right here on the soil of Ghana. I want you to have a variety of opportunities available to you, exchange program here in Ghana, South Africa. I want you to have that education that inspires excellence, education that is expert-led, education that is anchored on the community, education that is positioning you properly in the future, education that gives you a cozy classroom that is not crowded, education that gives you something that would let you thrive globally, education that will give you all the opportunities that you're looking for. And it's right here in Ghana. It's called the Rosebank International University College. I call it the Adult Montessori, and it's designed to match international benchmarks. So you can be training here, but you and those in all those big Ivy League schools, etc., will be at par literally, because you are also getting some international education right here. They have all the necessary accreditations, whether from City and Guilds, Capsicum, whether from GTEx, the South African authorities. Everybody has come on board, and they have given them an opportunity. Over 146 universities across the continent of Africa, over 100,000 learners, or if you like, students, global programs, expert-led lectures. You should be calling the Rosebank International University now if you haven't already called them, or you should be visiting the campus at the Opebia building, right in the Opebia building, and you should call them if you are calling from outside. That's +233 307 007 800. That's +233 307 007 800, or www.riuc.edu.gh. If you're calling here in Ghana, it's 0307 007 800. That's 0307 007 800, and you will thank me later. We will talk about the Ghana National Fire Service and do a little throwback in Parliament. But I have a question. I attended a public school, what we call Saito. In my days, it was a morning and afternoon shift, Lebi Kashwani, and Napadiwia. In my days at Kanishi Anglican JSS, what we had was called pigeon and dove. So I was in A, it was Pigeon, and then those who were in B was DAF. So you come to school in the mornings from 6 a.m. to 12:45 for 2 weeks, and then you swap to the afternoon for 2 weeks. And we did that. We went to school. We had a very lovely headmaster at the time. First, it was the headmistress, Mrs. Kwashim, and then later we had Mr. Donko, Mr. Philip Donko, who later became the headmaster. And they encouraged us to, take our studies seriously, and, they taught us how to do some basic gardening and all of those. So we used to bring water from home because the school didn't have water supply at the time. We used to bring water from home in gallons and the rest. And the teachers were so lovely there. The headmaster was so lovely. In fact, at the time, the building that we used belonged to the Anglican Church. And it is the Bishop Matheson Girls' School, for those who are very advanced in age. It's right at the Kaneshi area, Bishop Matheson Girls' School. And I'm sure it was a middle school at the time. So they had 4 classrooms, Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, right? Then when the JSS system kicked in, the program kicked in, we had 3 classrooms. So what was then available to us was 3 classrooms. The last one used to be a staff common room. Now, guess what? At the time, there was another school that had come to join us that had their primary 6 joining our block. So the teachers, out of their own magnanimity, vacated their classroom, sat on the corridor at the back, and used that as their common room, right? So that the children could get classrooms to study in. They were not thinking about their comfort. They were thinking about the future children like us. So Form 3, Form 2, Form 1, and then you had the Class 6 people join later. Some of them are medical doctors, engineers, some that I know personally. They went to Saito, the same Saito that some are lawyers, and the same Saito that I attended. At the time, we didn't have a situation where you had a metro executive or a circuit supervisor or a regional director or something finding comfort in any of the classrooms that had been designated for the children. It was just for educational purposes, and the teachers were ready to sacrifice. Today, you have a few of those teachers in the system. But today, most of the people running our education are first of all looking for their comfort and not for that of the children. I'm saying that not all of them. There are some who are very dedicated, down to earth, and they will tone down at every level to make sure that the children are comfortable. Look, they used to cane us back in the day. The Mr. Nyankos of this world, the Mr. Abeku Sams of this world, the Mrs. Ajimans of this world, Miss Dosa of this world, Mrs. Ado of this world. Look, they used to, Mrs. Atumbu, they used to deal with us. But it was for good reason. Mr. Sam, for example, used to run a small library for us where he had books and you had to come and pick. Every week you had to come and pick a book in the Saito. You pick a book, you sign it off, you go and read, you come and tell him what was in the book, you sign it off again, and then you pick another one. We're running our own system. This was the kind of love and affection that the teachers showed us, and they relinquished their classroom so we could have access to the classrooms, so we could learn. Is that the situation today? Where you have a school building, and then you have, I'm told in certain cases, you have metro officials taking one whole classroom for themselves to use as an office. When the metro office is there, when the children will be struggling for school classrooms and will be cramped up. Armstrong did a story from Begbese the other time. You should have seen the children in the classroom. I have been here, I spoke about the Kaira DA school in Dafia Makpos constituency. The school had been completed, and then somebody had locked the door waiting because he had intentions to contest as the parliamentary candidate. So I asked the question, that some of the teachers we have these days, some of the officials we have these days, do they really care about the children's comfort and their forward march, or do they care about themselves more? And I'll be inviting the education authorities to be doing an audit of every single school building in this society that we have. The millennium schools and etc. that were built, the structure, the number of classrooms that are supposed to be there, the number of children that are supposed to be in there. Because you see, back in the day, public schools used to be the norm. and private schools used to be the exception. So private schools were complementary to public schools. Today, the coin has flipped. Private schools have become the norm and public schools have become the exception. You speaking, looking at me now, there are all these who are looking at me now respectfully, who went to public schools and they talk about it with a lot of pride. They say, oh, I went to so-so-and-so government school, so-so-and-so experimental school, so-so-and-so this. I wrote my common entrance. I passed. I went to secondary school. I went to a grade A school. Or I did my, I did my, Form 4, whatever it is. And then a middle school living certificate. They talk about it with a lot of pride. So the question I ask is, are the authorities today looking for more comfort for themselves than they are looking out for the children? Or are they looking out for the children more than they would look out for themselves? And I just give you an example of my experience in school, in a Saito school, in the Greater Accra region, where our teachers left the classroom for the children to be able to be in the classroom. Our headmaster's office, what was supposed to be a store, our headmaster's office literally became our store for us keeping our beakers and our test tubes and etc. For our science class. Because the home science block that we had been inundated with a lot of cooking stuff because we were taught how to bake, how to cook, and all manner of things. Is that the situation today? I will be doing an audit after audit, and I am still on the let the retirees go, let the young grow. There are still people who brag that they are past 60 years, and they are still in the service, and they tell it to people publicly. Oh, we have that on record. When we start playing and start showing the photos of people who have gone past 60, either they have reduced their ages to be in there, or at the time when they claim that they are past 60, then they might have given birth as teenagers. But you know, in the old system, you couldn't have been a teenager to have given birth if you still would continue your school. Because you go to middle school, if you went to secondary school, you do form up to Form 5, then you do O-level, A-level, all those long process. Even if you are going to teacher training, it's quite an elaborate process. So we will get into the details. Now, take me to the Ghana National Fire Service. And I've been on their matter because I think that a certain law is being abused. The Ghana National Fire Service ought to come and answer the question to the public. Because the truth of the matter is this: your officers and men, majority of them are not happy. Majority of your officers and men are not happy. This is the LI. It says a recruit, I'm reading 31:3. A recruit or an enlisted person is entitled to the following without cost to that recruit or enlisted person during the period of training. A recruit or an enlisted person is entitled to the following without cost to the recruit or enlisted person during the period of training. A, accommodation. B, medical care. And C, meals. A, accommodation. B, medical care. And C, meals. Now show me the receipts, please. This is a receipt issued at the Ghana National Fire Service College. And I don't know if this is a Controller and Accountant General receipts and where the monies go, whether this is considered an IGF. But if what I read for you, and I will have to black out the name and the serial number because they will pick on this individual and deal with him. Now watch. This 600 Ghana cedis that had been paid, which receipt was received on the 29th of December 2024. 29th of December 2024. Is for health and facility maintenance fee. Now, the law says that they are supposed to get free accommodation and free food. Now, take me back to the first one. They are supposed to get free accommodation, free healthcare, and free food. So this health and facility maintenance fee of 600 Ghana cedis, why did the authorities take that money from them? Which health? And they tell me that throughout the training program, they only had an ambulance service, one ambulance there, and they will check their BP and then some other vitals. When they checked them for malaria, they had to pay out of pocket, even though they had paid this 300 Ghana cedis for health and 300 Ghana cedis for, maintenance fee. Maintenance fee in respect of what? Show me the next one. Now, go back to the first one, please. Pay attention to the signatures. Pay attention to the signatures, please. Go back to the next one. This is also from the Ghana National Fire Service College, and these receipts were issued after people had protested that we are paying monies you are not giving us. Now, this is the 30th of January 2025. Ghana National Fire Service College, 1,500 cedis, feeding. The law says they are supposed to be fed freely, but here they are paying feeding. And a parent of one of the people who passed out recently told me that, my child was giving allowance of 1,500. The feeding alone that was demanded of the person was 1,001. It will be left with 400. When he does the malaria test, what will be left? And then, when they check you in the ambulance and then your prescriptions are given to you, you are a recruit. You are under training. You are an officer cadet under training. You cannot go out. So they have to now give the instructors transport to go and buy the prescribed medicine for them at their own cost. But the law says they are supposed to get free medical care, free food, free accommodation while they are in training. And this happened when they were in training. Show me the next one. This is another feeding fee. Now, pay attention to the signatures. I'm telling you something. Go back to the first one, the previous one. Now, the signatures. I want you to pay attention to the signatures. Look at this signature. Show me the second one. Look at this signature. Now, show me the other one. Look at this signature. Good. Now, this is also 1,500 cedis feeding fee. Note that if you owe a certain amount of money, let's say you owe 2,000 cedis, and you pay 1,500 cedis, the balance that is due to the institution must be indicated on the receipt. Alai? Where is the balance? Show me the 3 receipts. Where is the balance that has been indicated here? And there was nowhere in the communication to them before they went for training that, look, you are going to pay for your own feeding and you are going to pay maintenance fee. And you are going to pay for all these things. In fact, they tell me, the officer cadets tell me that, look, they took them to a new facility around the Chebi area. A new facility around the Chebi area. That area used to be a Galamsey site, so dusty, blah, blah, blah. And they said you have, forgive me if you're having breakfast, but you had the residue of fecal matter from the washrooms on the square where they were jogging. So respiratory issues and all those sanitary issues were there. And the medicals were not being taken care of. So that I'm asking, the 300 Ghana cedis that was taken from each one of them in respect of health, and the 300 Ghana that was taken from them in terms of facility management fee, where did the money go? And did the Ministry of Interior, the Finance Ministry, not provide money? Did the government not provide money for the training of these fire service officers? Remember, they bought their own forms. They went for their own medicals. We found them fit and we said, come, let us train you to come and serve us. Now, did you know that even after this training, the new ranks that they have, the salaries have not kicked in. So some of them had to literally go and borrow money to go and buy the long list of prospectus. Find me the prospectus. The long list of items on the prospectus. Because there was a very short notice. Some of them got the notice through social media, through their friends. Short notice. They had to go and borrow money. Some had to go and pick loans from banks. All these things. They paid for 2 pairs of, brown trousers, I'm told. They only got one. The last one came towards the end of the training. There are questions that must be answered. And the leadership of the Ghana National Fire Service cannot pretend that they are not hearing what we are saying here, because this is about the 4th episode on the Ghana National Fire Service that I've done. And I've showed documents. Before I speak, I show documents. That is why the people at GTTC, I laugh at them. Because next week we'll have a field day. Yeah, we'll have a field day. We'll put the ball on the park. Have you played socks ball before? Let's ask the principal. Has he played socks ball? Socks ball. You know socks ball. We'll play socks ball at gutter to gutter level. Socks ball at gutter to gutter. We'll play at Tassa socks ball at gutter to gutter level. So these are the things. And they had to buy all these things. Some of them, they said they didn't even use. But of particular concern to me is that there's a law. And the Ghana National Fire Service knows the law. I'm sure they have a legal department. Put the law up again. They have a legal department. And the legal department is minded by this provision in the law. That says a recruit or an enlisted person is entitled to the following without cost to that recruit or enlisted person during the period of training. A, accommodation. B, medical care. And C, meals. Now, we saw a letter. The intention, I'm told, for that letter is that if you do not come to pay some more, then it might be deducted from your salary. Now, I'm asking that question. Which law is grounding or is giving the impetus for the Ghana National Fire Service to be demanding monies from recruits and officer cadets? It's a very simple question. And who is keeping that money? And how is that money being accounted for? Because the Ghanaian people's taxes are supposed to be used to train these officers so that they come and serve us. Now, if you are taking health and maintenance and you are taking feeding fee, 1,500 and the rest, Musumu did it too much, 1,500. You are taking monies from the people. That is supposed to be free. There is a problem somewhere. There is certainly a problem somewhere, and somebody has to come and be answering. Tomorrow, I'll show you another set of documents. Same fire service. Already I've showed you Kumkum Baja and the tenders that we bought that have never worked before and many other procurement issues. Nobody has spoken. So they are listening, but nobody is talking. Are they guilty as charged? I don't know. Take me to Parliament. Dear Speaker Bagbin, we're wrapping up. Good morning to you, sir. How are you, big uncle? I trust you are very, very fine. You are number 3. And we appreciate and respect you for that. Now, you have consistently also reminded us how you have been in Parliament for a very, very long time and how the institution of Parliament ought to be preserved and respected. And I side with you. In fact, I love the fact that when you came, you took off these gowns and you decided that you were going to wear African stuff and wear your dapila and wear your stuff. And I appreciate that. As a small Northern chief, I appreciate that. And many people are now beginning to take after you. I mean, Speaker Bagbin wears grandpa clothing. Speaker Bagbin wears Sona clothing. That's beautiful. We love it that you are leading the charge. But Speaker Bagbin, one thing respectfully that you have not led the charge in is that the election that brought you in there on the night that you were selected, some soldiers came into the chamber of Parliament to misbehave. On the night that you were elected as Speaker, this was the chaos that heralded your speakership. Listen. Speaker Bagbin, today is Throwback Thursday. Keep the image on. Keep the images on. This was the kind of chaos that heralded your speakership. After having been majority leader, minority leader over the years, a very good debater, very smart and wise man, this was how you were welcomed as Speaker of Ghana's 7th Parliament and now the 8th Parliament. The soldiers that got into the chamber, even for those of us who have covered Parliament, We have no right and authority to be in the chamber or on the floor of Parliament if we have not been authorized so to do. But these soldiers, led by a colonel at the time, now I understand he's now a brigadier general, a one-star general, came in there. And I'm not sure that they came in there just because they wanted to barge in. They came in there because somebody possibly may have called them. Mind you, Mr. Speaker, the marshals in Parliament, most of them are soldiers. So they know the repercussions. Mr. Speaker, need I remind you that on this night, when your election was going to be held, when you were going to be chosen as Speaker, never mind that at the time the brochure that had been printed had Professor Okoye's picture on the front, so we had to now go and stick it together. Oh, we know, we saw it, don't worry. Never mind. But on this particular night, there was no President of the Republic. And there was no Speaker of Parliament. You were now going to be chosen as Speaker. It was only the judiciary that was intact. What if the soldiers who had been called in, who came onto the floor of Parliament, and you could see Kwesi Fori begging, literally talking to them and appealing to them. DCOP, big man, begging them. Anything could have happened. A coup could have happened. A takeover could have happened. And up until now, Speaker Bagbin, the ministers who were there at the time as defense minister, as interior minister, as national security minister, all of them went through the second round of vetting, unscathed, approved, because you put the question and the people said, yeah. So if the Azaga says, say, Speaker Bagbin, you are part of it. If we are looking for those who ate the python, you are part. Respectfully. When are you going to let us do a proper probe to find out who actually called the sheriff? When are we going to find out who made the call and what punishment has come to these soldiers and the person who led them? Because if we don't do this, in future, we will have more chaos. Some overzealous person will take on and do the unthinkable. And we have a history as a country. Right from the First Republic, we have a history as a country. Some overzealous soldiers. We have had a history in this country. We cannot pretend to forget our history all of a sudden. You could see the majority at the time sitting cool. The minority were agitated. And you are of the minority stock, Mr. Speaker. This question, if it remains unanswered, will be the legacy that you will carry with you. And one of my big men told me that the market has no memory. We will forget all that you have done. All the debates, all the good things that you have done as minister and what have three wise men, we will forget all those ones. And we will put this one around your neck to take home as your garland. And it will be your garland of shame if we do not get to the bottom of this. We have to find the people. Show me the other, Mr. Speaker, still under your watch. Show me the other video. Now, this is in Parliament. Members of Parliament destroying state property.
So,
what has happened to them? You only said we are suspending them, blah, blah, blah. If I came to Parliament and broke a chair, or I came to Parliament and picked one of the microphones and broke it, taxpayers' money, I'm sure that there will be a so-called privileges committee that will call me. The privileges committee, as it is called. Where is the privileges committee in all of this? Where members of Parliament who demand that they be called honorable were fooling on national TV. when they knew that the cameras were there, visitors were there, chiefs were there, elders, people were older than them were there. They were fooling, playing the fool on TV. What example were they showing? And we saw the destruction of property. Never mind that when they finished the meetings, the place is left so dirty. Never mind. This is after they finished the meetings. Look at the debt. Honorable members, look at the debt on the table. Empty cups, empty saucer, papers, bazaar. Bazaar. Even my son of Brimpon School, they won't do this. Jajoda won't do this. Look at state destruction of state property. Bazaar. Bazaar, 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 bazaar. And they destroyed state property. Have they been surcharged? Have they been held before the Privileges Committee? Mr. Speaker, this is another legacy that we will hang on your neck if you don't solve the problem and you don't punish people and you don't play the strict fatherly role and disciplinarian that we know you to be. It is at your doorstep now. Show me Sputnik V at the height of COVID. We had Sputnik V Chobo. When we were dying, we were all dying. We were being convinced that we needed money to buy vaccines. Even that, the vaccines were being overpriced to be sold to us. The Minister for Health at the time, the MP for Delmar Central, former MP for Delmar Central, he told us that he was not thinking straight. He sidestepped the Public Financial Management Act. He told us that he was not thinking straight. But he remained at post because his friend is Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo kept him at post, even though he told us that he was not thinking straight. And we know that the basic requirement to become a member of parliament or to lead is to be of sound mind. It's in the Constitution. I didn't write it. You were perhaps part of the framers of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. He told us that he was not thinking straight. In fact, in the first instance, he lied under oath that they had not advanced any payment. We spoke to Marcus Tobiasen of the VG newspaper in Venezuela. Our ministries decided not to speak to us. We, as part of the people who spoke to Marcus Tobiasen of the VG newspaper. And then we found out that monies had been paid. When we put it out there, then he went the next day to tell the committee that he was not thinking straight, but he had lied under oath. That's perjury. If I came to Parliament and lied under oath, what would happen to me? Privileges Committee. I'll be dealt with. Contempt of Parliament. So the ordinary person is due for punishment. But the so-called honorable members, under your watch, Mr. Speaker, who work under you, are okay to go. These are just three. Throwback. This one too, if you don't solve the problem, we will hang it on your neck, Mr. Speaker. So there are three chains that we have put on your neck, and I don't believe you are Jay-Z to be having all those chains on your... No. You're a very decent man. You don't be wearing Jay-Z chains, Mr. Speaker. Take the chains off, Mr. Speaker, and wear your nice African prints. That's how we want you. Here ends my sermon. Please call me 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154.